iCopy was founded in 2008. A group of attorneys who were fed up with the traditional existing records retrieval companies thought, hey, this can't be too hard. Let's spin a company up ourselves. And
today, we're going to be talking about the history of iCopy and specifically Stephanie Jenkins, our president, and how she came to be involved in the company. So, Stephanie, how about you start with the beginning of iCopy?
Awesome. Well, I wasn't around for the very beginning. So this is, I guess, the story told through my understanding of the very beginning. But iCopy was founded in 2008 with the tagline, by attorneys for attorneys. And so the origination was a group of attorneys who were fed up with the traditional existing records retrieval companies, thought, hey, this can't be too hard. Let's spin a company up ourselves and see if we can at least use it for our needs specifically. And so humble beginnings, it began basically out of a office the size of a walk-in closet, I would say. And it was with the intention of serving, again, just this small group of attorneys who said, hey, we know as the end users, as the people who are, working with this product on a day-to-day basis, we know what our people need, we know what works for us, and we know what we're not getting in the marketplace. And so the whole intention was to create a product and specifically a service that had the services as its really primary value. And so that was back in 2008. I then met one of our partners and owners of the company probably in 2014, I think, in an industry event. And at the time, he was just sharing with me kind of the same vision I just shared with you. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, where are you guys operating out of? And he's like, just a small office in the Chicago suburbs. And we kind of took it from there. And he said, hey, if you're ever interested in having this conversation on a broader level, like, let's talk in the future. And so several years later, we reconnected, and I was in a position where I could start exploring what it would look like to potentially join iCopy from a leadership perspective. And we began kind of revisiting his original vision and taking what I had learned from the industry, from 4 or 5 years in the industry, and applying it to what this vision could look like. And so we kind of took both the perspective of the attorneys, the clients, the people who had been using it, again, on a day-to-day basis, and my perspective from being in the industry and talking to attorneys, paralegals, insurance professionals, people who were understanding that records retrieval was a important partner to find, and that maybe weren't happy with their partner at the time.
So started in 2015 with meeting the owner and founder from 2008. And so tell me about that journey when you did come into the picture in a more full-time capacity. Fast forward those few years. What did onboarding to how the company was currently operating at that time, and then the growth that really started and led into what is our platform, Nimbus, not too long after that?
Yeah, so I've always been a pretty tech-oriented person. So I think I was always uniquely equipped to look at where iCopy was from a tech perspective. And so at the time, iCopy, like a lot of other records retrieval companies, was using kind of a standard platform, standard backend that a lot of the other records retrieval companies were used to. And just like everything else, there was gaps in that. There was parts of the experience that were undesirable. And so I had talked specifically to a couple different attorneys in the that I had known over the years, and I said, if you could kind of make your wish list of what a records retrieval platform would do, like, just share that with me. And so from just out of conversation, they started sharing, hey, if it could do this, if it could do this, if it could do this, like, that would be my dream, but there's no way that's possible. And so where I came in, I think, was I was able to partner with a venture studios and talk to them about, hey, here's the vision that Ed and I have, and what would that look like to actually put it into motion. And so that whole process has been a whole different type of journey on top of itself, but just going through and recognizing, okay, there's an opportunity here, and how do we take kind of, again, all the learnings we've had through conversations, through our industry experience, and take what's working about the old way and combine it with a new way to move forward into the future.
So the evolution really being coming in at a point where a company was a really service-based legal support services company, and now being a tech-enabled service company. So tell me, in that journey of making that transition, what was one of the biggest things that you learned that you're able to apply in current Stephanie journeys?
That's a great question. So I think the idea of tech-enabled is really important, because I have been around a lot of startups where the primary focus is, hey, if we just make an app, we'll have a business. And I think that that's where a lot of early stage companies get it wrong, is that they get this idea of, okay, this would be a great feature, this would be a great tool, this would be cool to show off to whatever client or customer base you're thinking about serving. But what they're missing is the actual service behind it. And so what I think is really important in the way we approached everything was, because we are a service-based business first and foremost, we're able to take the core competency and the core value, again, of what we bring and layer the tech on top of that in a way that helps, I guess, enhance the features in the experience versus just try to be the experience in and of itself. I think that's the thing about tech enablement from a service-based company that a lot of companies get wrong.
Tell me about the season of iCopy after you got in with Ed and Vault and the building blocks of Nimbus were started.
Thanks for listening to Raising the Bar. We'll be releasing podcasts every week.